Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we've got something super cool. We have a brand new Dino Dream release, and honestly, I would say that this is one of the most overlooked releases from Dino Dream, and I don't understand why, because we've got ourselves the Jurassic World Triceratops. Now, I know many people probably more so wanted a Jurassic Park Triceratops, and I would love to see one created by Dino Dream at some point in the future, but I think the fact that they went with the Jurassic World version is actually pretty cool because there is not nearly enough love for that specific style Triceratops, and I think it is a quite nice looking version. So I'm very excited to actually have a good high quality model of that version of the Triceratops. You can see the image here on the box looks quite nice. We've got the Triceratops species name, again 1/30th scale, the Jurassic World logo, and of course Dino Dream. We'll go ahead and turn to this side. You can see again Triceratops with the logo right there, the Jurassic World logo. Then here on the back, again Dino Dream Triceratops. You have a very cool shot right here, but a whole bunch of other images of the model right there. And then over on the side again, the same thing, and then up on the top again, Dino Dream and the Jurassic logo. So let's pop this open and check it out. So first of all, we have a really nice base here. Basically the same type of base we've had a lot recently when it comes to the Dino Dream releases. And then we've also got our beautiful Triceratops. And that is absolutely gorgeous. It also very closely resembles what I had seen on the artwork there for the box, especially as far as the different tones of color used. You know, sometimes you'll get a model from a company that looks really quite different with the final product compared to the original prototype, but I would say this one definitely looks a whole lot closer than most usually do, and they've done a very good job on all of the different areas of the paint application from what I can see. The sculpt is also perfect, and that is no surprise. When it comes to the Dino Dream releases, I feel like their sculpts are always like absolute perfection, so that also is a huge plus to this one. So if you are a Triceratops fan, I can instantly tell you, you really need to get this one into your collection. I'm going to go ahead and readjust the camera just a little bit to take a closer look at this one. So if we bring it in and start here in the head sculpt, you can see that head sculpt is absolutely beautiful. When it comes to resembling a Jurassic World Triceratops, that is as picture perfect and spot on as it gets. You can see the eye is also very nicely painted in there, also nicely glossed. They've done a very good job as well of applying a dark wash to the figure, which I feel like absolutely amps up the realism as well as the color of the figure, and just in general giving it a lifelike look. We can see the nostrils sculpted out really nicely. The skin texture looks great. You've got very vibrant scales throughout. We can see the fine detail in the beak as well, looks really good. A little variation of color even within the beak with different shades of browns in that area. On the inside of the mouth, you can kind of see the tongue in there as well as a pinkish tone for the inside of the mouth. It's a little hard to get in there because it is a pretty small mouth, but it looks really good. The horns as well look great. If my camera focuses, there we go. Like the actual texturing of the horns looks super realistic, and I love that they start out with kind of like a darker tone there and very quickly transition to a bit of a lighter tone. You see the same thing here, as well as kind of like a nice wash that has been added to the horns of the Triceratops. And again, all of the different little cracks and crevices and just incredible texturing just looks so good on this Triceratops. As we move up into the frill, you will see again the detail looks excellent, extremely vibrant and impressive as you move through. There's also quite a bit of variation of color to this one, as you have darker, kind of like dark grays, you've got greens, you've got light tannish tones, you've got different variations of browns. As you can see, a bit of a darker brown that follows along the outer edge of the frill. You also can see the spikes all around the frill are painted, maybe. I can't tell if it's the exact same brown or if it's a slightly different shade, but I think it looks really good either way. You can see over here the head sculpt again looks great. The fine detail, everything is extremely impressive. As you move down here into the lower jaw, you can see a bit of a lighter tone down here, as well as that dark wash again at play, amping up the scale detail so nicely. As we move back, we have all sorts of creases and wrinkles to the skin moving along here into the neck. You can see even more as you move up here into the back of the neck of the Triceratops. We also continue to have all sorts of variation of color moving through the figure. Again, with so many different shades of color, with greens and browns and tans, all sorts of stuff. Also, the back of the frill not only looks excellent as far as the sculpt goes, but again, same deal as far as the paintwork goes. They've done a really good job of painting this one out. As we move back, you've got all sorts of creases up here in the top of the leg leading down from the shoulder, which you can kind of see the shoulder tensing right there. Leading into the leg itself, you can see that as well. Looks very impressive and strong for sure. You've got the elbow back there. The skin texture continues to look very nice, and again, all of the different variation of color as you move down into the toes of our Triceratops. They as well look really good, but I like the way that they've painted the nails here. As you can see, they start out with a darker tone and then transition to lighter tones as you move out there toward the tips. You see it on the other foot over there as well. That's quite cool. As you move back here into the stomach region, this side you have a really good shot of all of the impressive fine detail and paintwork for the Triceratops, because the legs are spread further apart than what we'll probably see on the other side. So you can definitely make out how incredibly impressive the actual scale detail is for this Triceratops, as well as all of the different like skin wrinkles and folds and stuff all the way leading into the underside as well. Super impressive fine detail. And as you move up and again through the course of the figure, you'll see all of the different variations of tans and browns and greens. So many slight variations of color on this one that I think look really good. We can also see the spinal column moving along the back of the dinosaur. Moving down, there's the hip bone, which we can see kind of protruding through the skin. Leading back into the rear leg, we've got the thigh musculature really nicely shown off. And again, just so much variation of color. Like, I keep mentioning that, but it's honestly super impressive when you look at this figure in person. Like, the amount of different tones of color, as well as the really impressive dark wash they've applied, which again, the Triceratops from Jurassic World does have that really quite dark and not very flashy appearance to it, so I think they've replicated that very nicely with this version. As you move down, you have the kneecap right there. You also have the calf muscle here. Leading down further, we've got the ankle, and then of course the foot sculpt. Again, same style of paintwork for the nails right there. We can see the scales of the feet looking really good, and then we move up into the tail, and as we lead out, we again see extremely vibrant looking skin texture, all sorts of different variation to the scales, larger and finer scales. As you lead out there toward the tail, you have a very nice curve to the tail and in general to the entire body. And then when we look at it from over here, of course, you can see the dinosaur has its head turned toward us, so you've got all sorts of creases here in the neck as you move through. You can see a little seam right there, but I think for the most part it's actually quite nicely sort of obscured with all of the creases in the turn in the neck. And then as you move up here, you can see again that, just like I expected, the stomach is a little less visible over here because both legs are kind of pushing back into the body, so it's a little harder to really see the stomach on this side, but you can see all of the skin kind of scrunched up and wrinkled up in the stomach region because of the positioning. You can even see like the belly of the Triceratops kind of pushed, out a little bit because it's kind of squished with the very sharp turn that we have in the body of the dinosaur. We can also see that this leg is picking up off of the ground, so it looks as though our Triceratops is maybe upset about something or just generally moving quickly and making a right turn. I'm not too sure, but this leg clearly is showing motion and movement of our Triceratops. And again, the foot sculpt, there we go, looks excellent. The paintwork as well looks excellent. As you move back here, this leg is planted down on the ground, almost in a similar place as this one on the other side, but just slightly more forward. But again, it looks really impressive when it comes to every aspect. Sculpt, paint, everything looks great. And then we move out into the tail again, which is curved toward us. So that is absolutely incredible when it comes to a Jurassic World Triceratops. Then you also again have the base, which is just kind of like a very cool, very shiny look to it with the Jurassic World logo right there, but that's kind of like underneath, and then there's like a layer of, I guess, plastic or something. I'm not too sure. You can see it's very clear and translucent. And then if you actually look at the back, you can see again that we have Dino Dream Triceratops scale 1/30th. We also have the limited edition number. This is 157 of 999. And then as you move down, you actually have some info there on the Triceratops. So very, very impressive. Dino Dream just continuing to kill it. And when it comes to the most recent string of reveals they've had, man, we are in for a whole lot of Dino Dream models coming up. They have so much stuff coming out for Rebirth. And then, of course, other models that they've already unveiled on us, like the Apatosaurus coming up that we'll be releasing at some point. But here for a size, you are looking, actually, let's go to the horn. You're looking at from the tail to the horn, just shy of 10.5 inches, or around 26.5 centimeters. And then for a height, now this is with the Triceratops up on this base, but there's not much in the way of height. Actually, I guess we'll just go on the base to the top. You're looking at about 5 inches to the top of the spikes on the frill, or about 12.5 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is our Triceratops with Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, Robert Muldoon, and the Collect Day Human Being. And as you can see, they all look super cool next to each other. But this also shows you that the Triceratops does definitely have a nice size to it. Then when it comes to a comparison with some other Triceratops that are out on the market, here we have the Papo version, which you can see the Dino Dream version is just slightly larger than. We've also got the Howlong Good Triceratops, which, as you can see, is actually very similar in size, with Dino Dream being just slightly larger yet again. We've also got the Hammond Collection version of the Triceratops, which we can see is pretty similar in size, but maybe slightly larger. But if it's slightly larger, it's really not by much. And then we've also got the PNSO Triceratops, which we can see is a little bit smaller as well. And then one final Triceratops comparison, we also have the Nanmu version, which we can see is roughly in a very similar size range. Maybe a hair larger, but I would say very similar in size. Also, here is a comparison with the more recently released version, the dark version of Rexy, that was in the final battle set that Dino Dream had released next to the Triceratops, continuing to give you an idea of the size of this Triceratops next to a different Dino Dream release. We've also got a comparison with the Triceratops next to the Dino Dream Giganotosaurus, which these two actually make a pretty cool diorama, as the Giga's mouth is like almost perfectly positioned to attack the horn of the Triceratops. And then finally, we also have the Therizinosaurus from Dino Dream here next to the Triceratops, just giving you one more comparison between two different Dino Dream releases. So this brand new Dino Dream Jurassic World Triceratops is gorgeous. Definitely another incredible release from Dino Dream, and I feel like they just get better and better and better as time goes on. In fact, I would say the last few releases from them have been far and away some of the best that they have released yet, and are continuing to show, again, just such massive promise for everything they are releasing in the future. But this Triceratops has got to be one of my favorite Jurassic Triceratops that I have in my collection, and as I already stated, I'm really happy to see that they have gone with the Jurassic World version. At first, I was like, why wasn't it the Triceratops from Jurassic Park? But when I stop and think about it, like, there are so many models out already for that specific Triceratops that it is definitely nice to see one, as far as like a high quality model like this, based more so on the Jurassic World version, because that one does not get nearly enough love. And I'm sure Dino Dream will come back around to a JP one eventually. But the sculpt on this, again, absolutely picture perfect. It is gorgeous from head to tail when it comes to the fine detail. It is as highly detailed as you are going to find for a Jurassic World Triceratops. The paintwork is also really well done. There's so much, slight variation of color and different transitions and the nice dark wash, and just so much that has been applied to this to really bring it to life and give it an extremely lifelike look in person. So the paintwork is also quite impressive. And then you've got a pretty cool pose, very action-packed pose, but almost, I would say, the classic pose of the Jurassic World Triceratops on top of everything, and then of course a very cool base underneath. So without a doubt, a very much so high recommendation from me. If you are interested in grabbing this, I will include a link in the description to where you can purchase it from Lana Time Shop right now. So check that link, definitely pick this up, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.